Hi everybody, in this lesson we're going to talk about how we style shelves. So I have here a standard shelving unit and these rules are going to apply no matter the size of the shelf that you're working on, whether they're floating shelves, built-in shelves, bookshelves. They're going to be pretty universal the way that we style them. So my first step is start with a blank slate. So even in my own house, any house that I'm working on, I pull everything out and I start with a blank slate because it's so much easier to see what you're working with and the results come much faster. So pull everything out. Also, if you're feeling short on accessories to use, walk around your house and collect everything that's an object, a greenery, like a small plant, a picture that's kind of generic, not a family photo, but anything that's a landscape or a drawing or any number of art can work, abstract. And then books, assemble your books and create little groupings by color, or you can always turn them around backwards so that you're just seeing the pages and not the spine, and that'll kind of neutralize if you have just a hodgepodge of colors in your books. So go ahead and flip around, that works. The only thing to consider is that oftentimes books are going to bring that pop of color that are good. So when you're flipping around, it's going to neutralize that. You need to bring color in elsewhere because go ahead and look at this bookshelf that we have here. It's brown. And the pages are going to be whitish, brownish. And if you have all that, it's not adding anything. It's probably just going to add texture. So let's get started. So blank slate, we're there. Plan overall shelf composition. Okay, so what I like to do is I usually like to pick a focal point. This gets moved around, but you might look at it and go, okay, so I'm going to put something big there and something big maybe there. And then in here we'll have to do kind of like this, this, this. I don't know. That could work. So let's take this one and we're just going to make it super transparent. Maybe these can just be super transparent. So this is kind of the formula I'm going to follow. So I like to start with my big objects first. So I know I'm lucky I get to just adjust the size of these things. And you will not have that luxury, but I'm sorry. See, my thought process here is I like these horses and I probably want them pretty focal. I think we can do something like this. So I wanted to create like a big moment here. And then see, please note the mix of vessels. So I have a black, a cement, a glass, and kind of a stone look here. Those are good because, if you need shine, you would use this. If you need something natural, you would use this. And if you kind of need some contrast, you'd use this. And keep in mind, we've got the horses, they're black. And then we've got this here, that's also black. So that will lead the eye around what we have going on here. So I'm going to create a moment here. So because I have the horses here, I want my other focal point to be offset from that. Like so. And then we have this stack of books, which honestly is a little high. So we're gonna, there we go. And you know what I like for this? I think maybe a box. Just this little box can go on top. Now, there's not a ton of contrast in here. Super neutral, which is okay. I do enjoy a little bit more contrast normally. And then keep in mind, so there's no plant here. And then as of now, there's no plant here. So for me, that's generally a problem. I like to balance my greenery, my pictures, my books. I kind of want to alternate and use them. That feels like a focal point. Bookends. So some items can be centered. This grouping is technically centered. The only way to skip. See, but we can, so this is how we start. Is we start laying it out and then we start moving it around to where it's going to work. And remember, if you remember, I wanted these horses up here anyway, so boom. So that's 3. We already have books. I kind of think we could have something that kind of stands on its own. Now we're at 4, but we can just take a little candle maybe, put it next to it. And then we have our book moment, which I'm into. And then, see, we haven't done a picture in a minute, so I think because we have blue in the books, I'll use this blue picture and I'm going to put it on the other side of this one, so there's balance between the pictures. And then keep in mind an object here, so we'll put an object here, or we'll kind of create a centered moment over here. So looking at this, I feel like we have a centered, and then these ones are offset, so I kind of need to keep that balance. Center, 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 offset, offset, offset. So I think for this one, I'll probably just do this and just like drape it in front. We have enough books, otherwise I'd probably throw some books on it, but like I'd probably put books underneath that, but I don't think we need to. That's cute. And then over here we can just put these little vases, which, oh, that's my blue square. Boop, and a greenery. I love this one. And position to the front. I think we're done. So I know that seemed easy, but let's look at how we did this. So let's look at our rules. Create groupings. That was something that came naturally. You can do it before, or you can do it as you work. I choose to do it as I work because, as you can see, a lot of things change as you're working through it. But if you have the concepts and the layout planned, you can adjust as you move. Make triangles. Well, let me just show you. So I see this is a triangle. This is a triangle. This is a triangle. I don't know what happened here. There we go. That's a little triangle. That's straight. That's okay. You can pop it in there. That's a triangle. And then remember, we're doing our 40-60 rule. So when you look at a lot of these things, you can see that this grouping is about, this is the 60, this is the 40. Use the 60-40 rule. If you look overall, we have about 60% of the shelves full. So if you have more than that, it's probably going to look a little cluttered and heavy. If you have less than that, it might look a little sparse. I'd say if anything, err on the side of sparse, and you can do a little less than 60% more than doing too much. And then there's a classic rule of odd numbers. So we try to do that whenever we can. It just seems to work. Sometimes, it's not a hard and fast rule in the sense that I'm not counting every book, but to me, this is like a group of one in a sense, because it's like one unit. But if you wanted to look at it in each of those as separate, you could do that as well. Now it's 3. The horses are in 3, and then total we're at 5. Here, this one we're a little bit off. The question is like, would it look? Oops. If you just did something like that, that would be fine. And you have 3. 1, and then this one has 2. So if you really, 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 really wanted, you could add another grouping down here, which actually I would probably do this like this. If you can hear my dog, I'm sorry, we got a puppy. My partner's taking care of him, so he's fine, don't worry. He just always wants to play. Put a stack of 5 books down there. There's your 3. There you go. Ta-da.